The predictions of thunderstorms and cloudiness by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency of Nigeria for 3 days raises concern for potential weather disruptions in the affected areas, given the extreme weather condition occasioned by climate change. It has become imperative to activate all emergency platforms to weather the storm and record less casualties while the situation lasts. As you know, thunderstorms are usually accompanied by heavy rainfalls, lightnings, and strong wind, which can pose risk to public safety and property, while cloudiness, on the other hand, can also have far-reaching impacts. According to the forecasts as recently released by Nimet'S Tuesday morning, thunderstorms were expected in parts of Borno, Adamawa, Taraba, Yobe, and Gombe states. Same for Sokoto, Zamfara, Kebbi, Kano, Bauchi, Katsina, and Taraba states. The central regions may also experience partly cloudy conditions in the mornings, followed by afternoon and evening thunderstorms in the Federal Capital Territory, Plateau, Kogi, Benue, Nasarawa, and Kwara states. Wednesday early morning, thunderstorms are anticipated in parts of Taraba, Adamawa, Kebbi states. Later in the day, thunderstorms may also occur in Taraba, Adamawa, Borno, Yobe, Jigawa, Kano, Katsina, Gombe, Bauchi, and Kaduna states. Cross River, Akwa Ibom, Rivers, and Bayelsa State may experience morning rains, followed by widespread rains in the southern region. And finally, on Thursday, thunderstorms are predicted in Taraba states, Kebbi, Zamfara, Kaduna, Katsina, and Kano states. Same for the Federal Capital Territory, Plateau, Kogi, Nasarawa, and the southern region. Those are the predictions from Nimet, and also the basis for our discussion as we take a look at Nimet's prediction of thunderstorms and cloudiness in Nigeria. Welcome to Nigeria Today. I am Eukaria Clinton, and thanks for joining us. Now, joining us in the studio to expand the discussion on Nimet's predictions on thunderstorms and cloudiness is Ibrahim Wasiu. He's a Deputy General Manager, Public Weather Services, Central Forecast Office, Nigeria Meteorological Agency, Nimet Headquarters, Abuja. It's good to have you in Nigeria today.
Thanks for having me.
Now, joining us via Zoom is Florence Wenegieme. She's the Acting Director, FCT Emergency Management Agency, FEMA. It's good to have you in Nigeria today.
Thank you very much. I'm Acting Director General, not Acting Director, please.
Director General, sorry for that.
That's okay.
Now, I'll start with you, Mr. Ibrahim. First, it was a focus on flood risk. Now it's thunderstorm and cloudiness. Now, can you tell us what is it we don't know about? What should we be careful about?
Thank you. First and foremost, you will recall that Nimet's is saddled with the responsibility to observe, as our mandate is to observe, collate, and analyze meteorological data for timely and accurate, reporting of weather and climate information for socio-economic development and safety of lives and property. On that premises, every day we try to predict ahead, especially weather. What is likely to be the weather of the next 3 days? We release that to the public every day to ensure that the public are well informed and they can use that information to plan ahead. And it is on that premises that we usually issue forecast to the public, particularly when you are supposed to prepare ahead for thunderstorm, for instance, rain, cloudiness, and all that. And it is just not far from what you have just said. That was just a forecast release, because every day we issue a forecast 3 days ahead for public to be well informed of what is likely going to be the weather ahead, so that they can plan for it.
Okay. Now, how might these weather conditions, in your, from everything you've just said and what you've observed, how might this affect the daily activities, for Nigerians?
Yeah, of course. Of course, we should know that when you have a thunderstorm, for instance, That means you are likely to have heavy rainfall, you are likely to have lightning, you are likely to have, destructive weather, squally weather, that is strong wind, that could affect your daily activities. And when you already know, probably you are planning to have an outdoor event, or you want to go somewhere, or you want to go out late, with this information you can plan ahead. You'll be able to now take an informed decision on what to do, particularly when you are expecting thunderstorm, because this is a very disruptive weather. It can be squally, it can come with strong winds, very destructive winds. It can come with heavy rainfall that can lead to flash flood. It can even give lightning strikes, which of course is very dangerous. It can kill. So this will allow you to prepare ahead. This will allow you to take an informed decision on how to plan your day. And that is what we are doing.
Okay, over to you, Florence. You just heard what Ibrahim here said. Now that we're expecting, cloudiness, thunderstorms within the next 3 days. Starting from today, Tuesday, right?
Yeah,
I think from today, Tuesday. Yeah. Of course, we even saw something like that while we're coming, the cloudy weather and all of that. Now, what precautions should people take to stay safe during these days that we're going to have thunderstorms and cloudiness?
Thank you very much. Like you rightly said, Nimet'S and Nigerian Hydrological Agency gives us the early warning tools to use. And we have keyed into it right from the time we had the seasonal climate predictions and the annual flood outlook for the year 2024. All hands are on deck. And we really appreciate these two agencies for giving us such good warning tools that are almost, I would say, about between 95 and 98%, which is good enough for us to use as a very good warning tool. Now, what we have done is that in areas of sensitization, we have created awareness down to the grassroots in all the 6 area councils. And NIMET gives a high impact for or 1 week. Same thing with the Nigerian Hydrological Agency that gives us 3 days high impact flood outlook. Now we have the Federal Ministry of Environment that gives us the flood early warning systems that has been put in place in Nigeria. And we have from 16th to 20th of this June that we are going to have lightning, thunder, rain, heavy downpour, and possible flooding. Apart from the sensitization we have created awareness in all the 6 area councils. What we have done is that the local emergency committee has at 16th of this month, immediately we received the predictions. We called their attention, and they are all on standby. We have the local emergency committee in the 6 area councils. They are on standby and they are well trained. We have the local divers. We have volunteers and disaster marshals. And our rescue team, we have divided ourselves into 7 groups. In each area council, we have them on standby as well. Roads that are very vulnerable, we barricade them when there is a heavy downpour. Roads that are always very vulnerable, we have barricaded them permanently. So far now, we have built the capacity of our local divers just in case anything happens. If anybody gets drowned, they are already on standby at such vulnerable locations, that is the flood-prone areas, where we are expecting to have possible flooding, like it has been predicted, Buari, Gwagwalada, Kubwa, and some other locations, and from the axis of Suleja.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, Mr. Ibrahim, I was wondering, because this prediction was released late last night, right? I think late last night, and it's today, tomorrow, next. Is it not too close for people to, you know, probably take action or take kind of precautions? Because I don't know. You talk to us about that.
It's not actually close because we do this every day. We usually release, you know, this prediction every day, apart from the seasonal climate prediction that she mentioned, she talked about. Every day we update. We have decadal forecast, we have monthly, we have seasonal, we have daily. Like the one we are talking about now is issued daily. And there's always updates. Every day we always update it. So it's not close. Probably before that yesterday, we had also issued out, you know, forecast that explained that. Today we issue for the next 3 days and we update. So it's not too close. It's just for people to, you know, get abreast with weather forecast, follow, you know, what Nimet is doing, and, you know, go through all our social media platforms to make sure that you are well informed about weather.
Okay, now tell us, what is the worst case scenario and how can it be averted?
Can it be averted? It's natural. All we need to do, like she mentioned, is just to be proactive.
How can it be managed? How can we manage
we
the situation?
We just have to manage it. Floodplain areas, people need to move, you know, away from floodplain areas. Vulnerable group, you need to also, you know, watch out for them. Sensitize people to leave, you know, flood-prone area. Sensitize them, let them clear their gutters. Let there be free flow of water. Where you know is prone to flood, don't go there. When you have, you know, fast-moving water, don't walk through it. And a lot of sensitization that will make people to feel, you know, safe. Precautions. So that at the end of the day when it happens, then you already know and you take necessary precaution to avoid disaster. It's just to manage it.
No, I'm kind of worried about some persons that are living on waterways, you know, with this kind of, because I know recently we had some form of, you know, windy kind of, will I say rainfall. When it comes with that heavy wind that's almost pulling off you feel that the roof of your house is going off and you're like, you know, sitting on the edge. I hope this place doesn't open because of this
that reminds me of how important weather is. Even in building your structure, in building your homes, you're supposed to consider all these factors we are talking about. To be able, if you look at the way they are roofing in the north, it's quite different from the south. And if you don't roof properly to be able to curtail this wind strength, it could probably pull it off. You know, it's strong enough, especially at the onset acceleration period. These strong winds are always there. But when you already know that, look, winds of so north could come your way, you plan for that during the building, during installations and all that. So that at the end of the day, when such strong wind comes, it won't pull down the roof, it won't pull down electric pole, it won't uproot the, you know, plant and or whatever, especially trees, tall trees. So it's just to plan ahead, and that is why it's important before you do anything, consult Nimet, seek advice. You know, meet Nimet, come to us, we are there. I want to construct road. I want to build this structure. I want to do this installation. What is the implication of weather on it? And we advise you.
Do people really come for that kind of advice?
Few people come. We've seen a lot of people. Even after it might have happened, you see insurances writing to us. They want to know, do they really have this bad weather? You know, because lightning strike and all that, thunderstorm can damage a lot of, you know, equipment. It can damage a lot of facilities. So you see people writing when it has happened. But if you had already, you know what is likely to happen, you plan ahead. Like in some building, you see thunder arrestor. You know, these are things that people can guide against if you really, you know, plan well. And we are there.
Is there a sensitization to that?
Yeah, we do that.
To inform people about that, because a lot of persons really appears not to know, not to have a, you know, grasp of this information you're talking about.
Honestly, we do that. At the end of every forecast, you see, you know, a remark, an advisory to individuals, to organizations, to government itself, and all that, what you should do. It always comes with our, you know, with our forecast. We always advise citizens on what to do. We don't leave them just like that. We put the advisory there, what you need to do as an airline, what you need to do as an individual, don't eat stress, what you need to do, health sector, agriculture, all the sectors. It's always there.
Okay, Florence. Now, having heard from Mr. Ibrahim what these weather conditions can result to. Now, how can communities, individuals, better prepare for frequent weather changes like this?
Well, in actual sense, we swung into action immediately after the seasonal climate predictions and the annual flood outlook. We made sure we put everything in place, all things that are possible in order to save lives and properties in the FCT. It was predicted that FCT will be at the moderate flood risks. However, the 4 surrounding states are at a very high flood risks, and that was why we never left any stone unturned. We made out time. We were able to get to the grassroots, and every week after every predictions, we have a press release. I am sure I sent a copy of our press release to NTA. We do that, and we make sure it gets to the grassroots. We're in touch with the traditional rulers, and the traditional rulers in turn send down the message to different wards, different communities within their area councils. At the same time, we make use of the town criers in all the 6 area councils. So all the messages get down to the grassroots. In fact, this evening before this program, I received calls from Gwagwalada Area Council, Buari, and Kwali Area Council. And before then, we were able to go around the 6 area councils. Like I've said, we have sent some of our staff there and the local emergency committee to call their attention and call them to order, give them the necessary advice. Once you see lightning or once there's thunder or heavy downpour, you don't really have to go out of your houses. And we have always told them they should keep to the building codes. We have development control. You go there for approval. Before they approve, they make sure, before they approve any building plan, they make sure that you are keeping to the building codes. And at the same time, you will, if you are very observant in the FCT, up to the other area councils, you will notice that we have been removing houses that are built on waterways, anything that is causing obstruction to the free flow of water, we make sure we remove them. We have Department of Facility Maintenance, Environmental Protection Board. They also went into action to make sure they clean all the drainages, and some of the manholes that need to be desilted have been desilted. Manholes covers that were stolen, were carted away by scavengers, have been replaced. So apart from that, we have encouraged the residents of FCT to make sure that they know that they have a role to play. They should claim ownership of their environment. Apart from making sure they keep to the building codes, their environment is another thing, something they have to make sure they have enough drainage systems. The ones the government can do, they do that, they put them in place. If they are not adequate, we make sure we expand them. You can see the great job our Honorable Minister is doing in the FCT. We call him Mr. Project. And we have a coordinator whom we call Mr. Go Round. He's in charge of all the operational departments in the FCT. Right from the day he assumed duty, he has not rested. He's been moving from one area to the other. All the drainages are clean, the roads are put in place, and I think have felt enough sensitization. Notwithstanding, we are still intensifying our sensitization up to the grassroots. And we have built the capacity of our local divers. Of recent, we just concluded water training, water safety training, how to save others. So
Thank you very much, Florence. We'll come back to you. much later. Now back to Ibrahim. I was actually thinking about something, the farming, the agriculture. As much as some persons will say, okay, just 3 days, you agree with me that one day serious heavy rainfall can really wreak havoc, you know, in this sector. Now, how will these, you know, predicted weather affect agriculture and farming activities in Nigeria, especially these areas that we mentioned?
Yeah, thank you for that question. We work closely with Ministry of Agriculture. As a matter of fact, every year, apart from Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Environment, and all the stakeholders generally, even NGOs, we usually invite them for public weather presentation. I mean, you know, public presentation of seasonal climate prediction. And there, we always educate them on what is ahead of them, particularly during the growing season. We let them know when they are expected to, you know, plant, the onset, the cessation, the length of growing season, and all that. At that event, we always let them know that this is how they should plant and when they should plant. They shouldn't plant due to force, you know, rainfall. Probably just have a couple of rain, you think it has started. No. And we work with these people closely. We also do what is called downscaling. We work with some NGOs, EDA for instance. We try to downscale to state specific now to make sure that each state in the south, in the north central, you know, in the north, knows when to plant, how to plant, what to plant. You know, such advice help them to be able to do the right farming activities, climate smart agriculture. And that is what we do. So downscaling, you know, help them a lot, because that will now be what they need to do, state specific. And it's the, you know, their particular language. For instance, now in the southwest, you know, it will be in Yoruba. For the north, so that they can actually understand what they need to do. And this has been giving them, you know, bumper harvest. They've been having, especially those that yield to come and see testimony during, you know, seasonal climate prediction. You see testimony, people who make use of, you know, the advisory given to them from Nimet. They are enjoying it. Okay. So we are doing our best.
Thank you. Now, Florence, just before we go, we just have about 30 seconds. Now, what tips will you give to the public to stay safe and make the most of their days despite the weather conditions?
Yes, I will always tell them, like I've always said, do not drive through running waters. At any point in time, you notice the rains are heavy. You don't have to go out, and you must not ply that same road. You can always use another access road. But one quick one about food security. We spoke about agriculture. What we did in the FCT here, we were able to advise them, like the people, we asked them to evacuate, to move to higher grounds where the people living on floodplains. We asked them and advised them to plant things like rice, yam, plantain, banana at that location and move to higher grounds. And at the same time, we distributed early maturing seeds and advised them on the period they should do the planting so that they can harvest it and to avoid loss of seedlings. We have also discouraged them from carrying out farming activities by the river banks, especially when the rains are heavy. Now, there are roads that we have barricaded, and we have announced on TV, radio, and at the same time on social media, we have discouraged people from plying such roads. And that is it. I'm still pleading with the residents of FCT, please, during this rainy season, when you are asked not to ply such roads, please kindly listen to our warnings. The lives we lost last year.
Thank you very much. That was Florence Wenegieme. She's the Acting Director General, FCT Emergency Management Agency, FEMA. Thank you so much for being part of the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
And also we had here in the studio, Ibrahim Wasiu, Deputy General Manager, Public Weather Services, Central Forecast Office, Nigeria Meteorological Agency, Nimet Headquarters, Abuja. Thank you so much for your time and contribution. And thank you for being part of the program. Don't forget, Nigeria Today airs every weekday at 7:30 p.m. at NTA News 24. You can also check out this episode and others on www.youtube.com/NTA News 24 Hub. Once again, thank you for being part of the program. I am Ikaria Clinton. Goodbye.